Alright, so we fast traveled back to the hunter's camp all the way in the dark woods, and we have a haunting investigation to do right over here. I thought, well, we saw on the map that we had one more to do over here, but we will check this out. Also, continuing the D&D discussion, Kierlun is saying that he thinks he began and ended at Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I assume that's second edition. Yeah, and the rules on that, like, if you are not, like, math inclined, the way that I am sort of, like, anti-math, I'm counter-math, D&D second edition is weird. Like, it makes sense.
I believe Daniel Keene has work for us.
Like, I get it conceptually, but in practice...
You didn't you, you mutton-faced old hag? You damned well up and did it. Oh!
Good day to you, Mr. Keene.
Likewise, sir. What brings you this way?
This guy looks like a hobbit wished on a Zoltan machine.
It might be more a case of what I can do for you.
Oh, aye. Can you pull a plough?
Interesting. But not what I meant. The thing is, Mr. Keene, you're haunted.
Me? Who'd want to haunt me?
Daniel, where's your sister?
Edith? Huh. Funny. Now you mention her, I haven't seen her much of late. In fact, I haven't seen her at all. You can't think she's dead. She can't be. She just can't be.
If his sister is missing, why didn't he mention it?
How long has your sister been missing?
I don't know. Longer than she should. I hate them woods, I do. They're strange. Voices echo in the trees. Puts the woolies right up me. Please, sir, my sister may be in danger. Can you find her?
Well, I don't like the second one.
We know what lurks in the woods. He wouldn't last an hour out there.
I can make no promises, Mr. Keene. I am sympathetic to your predicament.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Goodbye for now, Daniel.
Hurry. Find my sister, please.
Words from the past linger here.
Okay, I don't remember his sister. I might remember her. We'll have to learn more.
Look, a chest.
Well, open it, Job and all.
Is it a map? Could it be a treasure map?
Let me see. Give it here.
So, a treasure map.
Well, both true.
Did Edith go treasure hunting alone?
Your crop is meagre, but it's growing.
Pray it stays that way. What little grain we have is rotten.
Hello to Dawn Evil, by the way.
These tools have seen some service.
The Keens aren't lazy.
I want to look at the rest of this stuff before we go talk to Daniel.
So I see. Can't eat that.
I'm at my wit's end with it.
That decay is consistent with a haunting.
Okay, that might be everything in the sort of general farm area for now.
What news of my sister?
You found a map, I believe.
Map? What map?
A map. In a chest, you dug it up. With your sister. That map.
Oh, yes, that map. How do you know about that?
I'm a Banisher. I dig up secrets. Part of the job.
I'm impressed. And I admit a little bit vexed.
Where did the map lead?
I don't know. Up into the hills, out into the woods, across the bridge on the Boston Road. I can't say where exactly.
Goodbye for now, Daniel.
I ain't going nowhere.
So far, not a huge fan of the guy who
The
barely...
bridge on the Boston Road.
There'll be a waterfall somewhere not far away.
who barely even recognizes that his sister is gone, and then once he does, doesn't think to bring up any information about the fact that he and his sister, like the Banishers are right there, and he just doesn't choose to mention the fact that they found this treasure map. And then when they ask him about it directly, gets like really cagey, like, oh, what, really? What map? It seems like something you'd remember, sir. Have you dug up several recently? You're asking about which specific one? Like, he's just so full of crap. Innertooth is saying that in 3rd edition D&D, they had lots of pluses and minuses to bear in mind. My memory with 4th edition was that there were lots of status effects. Like, there were lots of conditions. Like, this person is taunted, that person is afraid, like the character or like monster or something, like has a fear condition on them. I'm trying to think of like other examples. This one is stunned or hobbled and can't, has half their movement speed. So it was a lot to keep track of, not math-wise, but just like logistics-wise. And then, as Innertooth says, a lot of that got streamlined down for 5th edition. I personally think that the advantage and disadvantage thing in just regular standard D&D 5th edition, I think that is such a smart system.
Die, you bastard!
Okay. Again, super unnecessary, but I was trying to do it before.
Don't mess with us.
I was trying to do that when I was getting hit. It's such an elegant way to make for some fun dice rolling stories where I had advantage and both rolls were a 5 or whatever. And it's just nice and simple. It's not like you can't have double advantage. It's not like add, 11 and then subtract 8 from the roll or anything like that. It's just if you have advantage on an attack roll or a skill check, you roll the 20-sided die twice, and you get to have whichever one of them is higher. And that's it. No math, just which one is higher. Killun is saying of the guy that we're working for, it's not that he doesn't choose to tell it. It's not that he doesn't choose to tell it. It's that he chooses not to tell it. Yeah, marked. That's another one. Hexed. Carolyn also likes D&D. One of the games that I would like to try out at some point this year is Rogue Trader. I don't know if it's going to land for me or not. I'm not really familiar with Warhammer or Warhammer 40,000, but people seem to react pretty well to it. It's still being actively patched and updated by Owlcat.
They never
That's
learn,
the
do they?
like story-based RPG. Hold on, we've got a lot of dudes back here. Cool. Great.
Look out!
Okay, that takes care of the sniper. One of them.
down to hell.
Killen was saying, talking of the non-40k RPG system. Yeah, see, that I know very little about. My experience with Warhammer, like my knowledge of Warhammer primarily comes from the big tabletop game with all the minis and some of the painting abilities on that is just astounding. By the way, Dawn, if you're still here, we just mentioned earlier about like your upcoming job as being like an example of like really good news that's out there. I was very glad that came out the way that it did and that you shared it with us because it's
I'm ready to shoot the infested roots after you bruise the heart.
Okay, 1. Two. 3. Okay.
Sharpshooter.
Years of practice.
Hello to Asperby. Asperby, I hope that you're also having a great week. We were interacting with Borlak and Lady B not very long ago at all about the pronunciation of some Irish names that had come up in the game. Because I feel like Red McCraith, our main character, he'd know how to say them.
Standing by.
And we knew Lady B would know how to say them, Lady B and Borlak. But I had no idea. And I was way off. Kiruna's was thinking of like Warhammer from like 30 or more years ago. Do they still publish like a tabletop role-playing system for Warhammer or 40k, or is it all the tabletop now? Sorry, that like war game. Oh, Lady B says that Borlak actually has no idea either. Use it properly for change.
Watch out. Spectre position.
Nope.
Ask for
Take that to your face.
Hey, Lady B, or Asperby for that matter, literally Caroluna, anybody that didn't grow up like where I did in the United States, were Saturday morning cartoons a thing for you when you grew up? Because when I grew up, that was like a huge thing, and that is definitely something that does not exist anymore. All of the local stations that used to specialize in these big, elaborate Saturday morning, children-focused programming to like put on lots of cartoons with bright colors and funny characters that could sell you breakfast cereals and toys and whatever else, that entire concept is just gone now. And I feel like it very much came about as the advent of cable and like entire television stations that would just be cartoons every day, all the time, no exceptions. Like, who cares about Saturday morning cartoons at that point if you can just switch over and get that all the time? But Dawn Evil definitely had them where she lived. Inner had it on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, we had barely any Sunday morning cartoons. That was really less of a thing. Sorry, I see a altar to the incarnate on our way. Love to get that. Permanent health boost.
The bridge is down. She can't have crossed.
There. A path leads downwards.
A path leads downwards. There is a path down there. Oh, is that what they're saying? Down there? That's not a walkable. Carolina says, if you had all the cool TV channels, yes. He didn't, but a couple of his friends did, so sleepovers at their place was always fun. Let me just see if we can find this altar to the incarnate, because it seems like it's very close. But yeah, I absolutely remember waking up early on Saturdays.
Reinforcements!
I remember learning to work the knobs on the television so that I could...
Incoming.
Shit. Back when televisions had physical knobs. So that I could watch Smurfs first thing in the morning on Saturdays.
Get lost, won't you?
Search for recent signs of passage.
Okay, hold on. We will find a way across the bridge. Dawn is saying she was born in the 70s and they had Saturday morning cartoons. She lived in the burbs of Chicago. Carolina also in the 70s and for Intertooth. Inner saying we had 4.5 days of school in low school and a half day off was on Wednesdays. Yeah, that's what we had in our area as well. They did away with half days on Wednesdays to a very great extent. Like, I think literally the year after I graduated. Access to the cave is now forbidden. Passage to the heart of the mountain is now inaccessible, and wolf traps have been set. Cross at your own risk. I'm sure that there's a lot of educational benefit to not having that half day on Wednesday. Boy, was I glad that we had that half day on Wednesday. 100%. Edward's letter. Tom, we write this letter in desperation. The wolves are ever present and become bolder. The camp is threatened. Many wish to leave. Send hunters or soldiers or whoever to kill the blasted animals, for we cannot. Then we shall resume work at full capacity. Sincerely yours, Edward. And, like, at least for me, I don't remember there being, like, a... I don't remember there being a point where I was like, oh, I'm too old for Saturday morning cartoons. It was more of just, like, drifting away and spending a lot more time with my friends. Like, you cross that barrier when you're young, or at least I did, where, not barrier, but, like, this progression where rather than waking up and getting yourself breakfast and watching cartoons all morning, you'd wake up and be like, well, what's on? Okay. And then you'd like call your friends and like want to go out and do something. Box note, Edward, here's the cargo you ordered. This year the fish are scarce. I don't know why. I have not the 20, but a good 15. Go to the hut for payment. Take the account. Perhaps I will caught these missing by then. I should note that we're not anything resembling the quest that I'm supposed to be on right now, and I don't know how to get to that chest. Or at least I don't think this has anything to do with it. I came here for a thing of the incarnate, and so far I'm not. I'm mostly just moving further away from it. Yeah, as Anitu says, you're never too old for Saturday morning cartoons. But yeah, I hold on. Charles's letter. My dear brother, I'm writing this letter to tell you that Susan and I will soon be leaving the camp. This place has become too dangerous, and I fear for Susan's safety. She's lonely because there are no other children her age here. I've heard of a place further into the forest where some people have already settled. It would be perfect to start a new life. I'm thinking of setting up a farm where I can grow our own food and Susan can play safely. The journey might take longer than expected because of the wolf packs. We have to go through the mountains, although the way is longer. We can go at our own pace without the risk of wolves. I will write to you as soon as we have settled in. Take care of yourself and your family. Charles. King James Bible? Yep. Hey. Asperby hides in 90s baby. Oh, okay.
Officially cannon powder.
Okay, well, since this can't have been nothing, I guess I just don't know what it's used for. Unless I picked something up when I pressed A and didn't realize it. Well, hold on. I will say this. We are actually in our search radius, so maybe this is more relevant to our quest than I expected.
Shall we?
Wait, what does this do? Actually, don't know. Okay. Well, hopefully that was good.
Traps. Deliberately sprung.
That was clever of her.
Killen says that he watched Cartoon Network every Sunday morning for years, especially when he was laying in bed recovering from having to work the night before. Yeah, as I was growing up, like, cartoons started to take, like, a more... American companies found that they could import and dub over, like, Japanese cartoons, so that was when we started to get into, like Pokemon and stuff. But in our area, it would switch over to, like... What's the phrase? See, this doesn't feel right. That's just me pushing that up against the stones. And just for the record, if this is here, this doesn't suddenly start doing something, does it? No. So if we push it back the other way... Oh! We can push it onto that. Turn it. Oh, did I attribute that to Carol Loon instead of Innertooth? Asperby remembers when Cartoon Network, switching over to WWF on Friday nights, I think it was for some reason. Oh, and their parents let them watch? I mostly remember, I remember growing up on, when I remember growing up, like, having that last cartoon of the day before it would, like, switch over to, like, whatever the hell it was gonna be for like Saturday afternoon programming. And at least when I was young enough to be watching the cartoons, it was so boring. Like, I'd want to like continue watching TV because hey, it's the day off and I like TV, and I just couldn't. Like, whatever it was, there would always hit that point on the Saturday where it's like, oh, that's it. Now there's literally nothing. I guess I'll have to go outside and play. Stolen note. It is difficult to survive here. Nobody sends us any help, and we are on our own. A couple of men have already left, and there are less and less of us. I don't know how we're going to make it. I suggested to the other lads that we put our supplies in the cache in the middle of the mine on high ground, which should protect them from wolves or looters. We have to hold on. Soon things will be better, I'm sure. I keep expecting these to be locked. Maybe the wolves wouldn't have taken all of your stuff if you had locked the doors. Locked the chests, rather. Like, honestly, I can't even... Oh. But it was, like, public programming. So what started to happen at a certain point is that, like, on Saturdays, it would be right when Pokemon or whatever was going to come on, and they would switch over to, like some religious show or something like that. And, like, oh my god, what could possibly be less interesting that they're not going to show Pokemon right now? Okay, hold on. I think that we can push this onto the elevator. I distinctly remember... So this was more of like a weekday afternoon thing, but when there was suddenly a real pivot towards like live action kid shows like Power Rangers, or a show that my friends and I particularly enjoyed in a highly ironic way was called Big Bad Beetleborgs, which was... It was a group of kids, a little boy, a different little boy, and then a little girl who, forgive me, none of them were very good actors. But they didn't need to be because it was like kids programming. And one day they did something, and there was like a haunted house where there were a bunch of like Count Chocula monsters. There was a vampire. There was a vampire that was like, these were not like Nosferatu, is all I'm saying.
Little maddens men more than gold.
I come from the Spanish Americas. All our misery is built on gold. Slaves died in the mines by the thousands so the kings of Europe could fill their coffers. This is why I overcharge.
King Charles took it well, as I remember.
Then I should have charged the bastard more.
There was a haunted mansion, and it had a vampire, a Frankenstein monster, a wolf man, a mummy, and then for some reason, the ghost of Elvis. I don't think that he was actually supposed to be the ghost of Elvis, given the fact that the character's name was Flabber, or Flubber. I think it was Flabber. But he looked exactly like Elvis. Like, he had this big, like, pompadour hairstyle, like he's Hick Dog or something, and... he was certainly like the narrative lead of this haunted haunted mansion. And the kids went in there and I don't know, some question mark happened. And then they got a wish, and the stupid Elvis ghost granted them the wish to be Beetleborgs, which was like their favorite comic book series. But because he's a huge fuck up, he also brought to life all of the comic book villains. And that is the premise for Big Bad Beetleborgs. So, I'm sorry, is there any chance that this pivots that turntable? Oh, it does. Okay. Well, now we can push this over. And I then remember, and so it was very Power Rangers from there, but skewed towards like a slightly younger audience. And the only other thing that I remember is that partway into the second season, and this was when like children's television shows would have like 200 episodes per season or something. So, and it wasn't that many, but it was a lot, is what I'm saying. At partway through the second season, they decided to replace the little girl that was in the series with a different little girl, except she was the sister of one of the characters. So it would seem a little bit weird if suddenly, like, what happened to your sister? Oh, she's she's in the other room. Now we have a different little sister, and they just went like that. So the way they decided to explain this in the wonderful world of Big Bad Beetleborgs was Flubber, who was Flabber, the Elvis ghost, who, again, huge fuck up, casts a spell, or like, I'm trying to think of, like, a spell was cast that turned the one little girl into a slightly different little girl, and then in order to explain the fact that now she looked and sounded differently, and again, no offense, but because like you're a little kid, okay, so I'm not like dunking on little kids, was a worse actor than she had been 15 minutes ago. Flabber then cast another spell that would make everyone except the studio audience perceive her as being the original little girl. This was such an elaborate construction to explain why one of the little girl actors was now a different little girl actor. And it was like a whole episode. They spent an entire episode explaining why this character was suddenly... it was the same character, suddenly looked different. I would like you guys to just briefly compare that to the final, like, 8 episodes or something of Family Matters, when Carl Winslow walks in and says, "Hello, wife I love so much," and it was like a completely different woman, and that's it. And they just kept going. They completely replaced the main actress who played, like, Carl Winslow's wife on Family Matters, and they just didn't address it. Like, everybody just agreed, we're just not going to talk about the fact that this is a completely different human being than you've been watching for the previous 12 seasons of Family Matters. And, like, my condolences to that actor, because you have a show called Family Matters. There are literal children that grew into adults playing parts on this television series, and now, in the absolute dusk of its final season, you're going to be brought in to play their mother figure. That can't be an easy role. That really sucks. So, like, pour one out for whoever that was. She came in, she did her job, she did her absolute best, and that just seems really, really hard. So it is telling me to go this way, and I can't. Oh, yes, I can. Ish? Innertooth still loves cartoons. My favorite cartoon, I keep waiting, like, Jab I don't think will be back for the duration of this playthrough. When he is, I'm looking forward to just being like, here's gonna be the entire conversation. Jab! Did you get to see the most recent episode of, what's it called? Invincible? And I assume that he'll say, yep, and I'll say, like, right? And he'll be like, yeah. Invincible is so good. Specifically what's happening in Invincible, and I don't mean plot-wise, they just started the second part of their second season, and it's just, man, that show just fires on all cylinders. I really enjoy it. It's not the sort of cartoon I grew up with. Asperby says that she was always out on bikes after lunch on the weekend, no matter the weather. Our house had a little dinner bell on the roof, and I could hear that 2 villages away when it was time to come home. I think Asperby might actually have been born inside a fairy tale. That sounds amazing. Asperby, when you talk with other people, like, now you have the internet, and like you've been exposed to people from like all over the world. Are you like, oh my god, I literally grew up inside like this, it just seems amazing. I don't know how to continue the construction I was setting up there, but that seems amazing. Did you grow up like in the Goonies? It just sounds so cool. Douglas says that cliffhanger, is that from I was literally just saying it. Invincible? It's so good. The best and worst thing about Invincible is the fact that it's animated. And what I mean is that the show could not be realistically done in any other way on a budget that makes sense. But because it's animated, it takes a really long time to produce. I'm trying not to have... I'm fighting on a very narrow area. Yes, I did try to parry all of those. If I can't parry, I might as well block. As for B, says a lot of old farmhouses have those bells to call in the people working the fields back in the day. Oh, Dougler, is the next episode out tonight? Yeah. Definitely looking forward to seeing more of Invincible. It also occurred to us, you know also what we haven't seen? Obi-Wan, Ashoka. Am I saying that correctly? I think I am. What was the other one? Oh, Andor. Like, yeah, there's a lot of great stuff in the world yet to watch. Turns out life is kind of in the way sometimes. Let's see. Favorite cartoons growing up? Smurfs, He-Man. I feel like there was a period in time when I liked a show called Mask that was about cars that had like all sorts of like...
Yes. Something's here.
Hidden weapon systems. But, like, I feel like that's something that was, like, it seemed really cool, but I never had any of those toys. G.I. Joe. Although, like, a lot of my friends were bigger into G.I. Joe than I was. G.I. Joe was something that I watched, but it wasn't, like, a personal passion of mine. I remember growing up with a show called Popples. Do you guys remember Popples? They were stuffed animals with, like a kangaroo pouch that they could sort of like turn inside out and like imagine a teddy bear, but if you sort of like folded it around, it would go and roll up into a ball. And I had a Popple when I was growing up. It was yellow. I don't remember its name. It might have been called Popcorn, but I don't strictly remember. That X-Men show, like my friends and I watched a lot of that, but I couldn't make heads or tails out of any of the storylines in that. Because one of the things, like that show, that X-Men cartoon that they're now reviving on like Disney Plus, if you, like there was an age group where if you watched every single episode in order because like that's where you were, then you probably got a lot out of that show. If you were like me and my friends were like on any given Saturday, we'd be like I'd be going with them to hockey practice and hang out with them, or like we'd sleep over and then play street hockey or basketball outside or something like that. We didn't see a lot of those episodes, so I would catch like one episode in 4 and be like, what the hell's going on? I don't even know who these characters are anymore. So like it just wasn't structured in a way. It was highly serialized TV.
Watch out. Spectre position.
Highly serialized TV before like VODs and stuff like recordings made it so easy to watch. Okay.
Get rid of the other Spectre first.
Okay. Probably this guy.
Move, Red.
That's what I wanted. Oh, Transformers, 100% Caroluna. Oh, and by the way, I was not picky. Well, hold on, this might be loud. Give me a second here. I missed it. Okay.
Some of this.
Whatever's down there, I hope it's worth the trip.
Okay,
Footprints. Too deep to miss.
They're a little old, but I'm guessing Edith Keane.
We are getting closer to Edith. Beasties. Oh, Beast Wars. Yeah, so Beast Wars was a little bit later. That was a CGI animated cartoon, but I remember actually really liking the storylines in that. The amazing thing about Beast Wars is that, a thing that I find interesting about Beast Wars is that all of the writing and character development came from the fact that although ideally, like from a corporate standpoint, that series would have been used to sell more toys, they couldn't design, rig, and animate a lot of characters. The CGI was so expensive and difficult to do that they had to focus on a small team of characters, and as a result, they all got a lot of character development time. Oh, but what I was starting to say there is, growing up, I was not picky. I would watch My Little Pony, I watched She-Ra, I watched, oh, Gem and the Holograms. Like, it's not even that I really liked them, but they were animated. Like, I really like cartoons. So I'd watch that, with my sister. I don't think if anything else stands out. Have I or have I not? Well, this is definitely the wrong way, so we're not going to go in there. I not only remember, but I think frequently about an episode of My Little Pony where the ponies had wishing coins, and one of them was just making an idle offhand wish. Like, they had to, like, leave the pool or whatever because it was raining. Womp womp, oh, we don't get to swim. And one of the ponies stepped on one of the magical wishing coins without realizing it, and was just, like, grumbling and said, I wish it would never rain again. And then Ponyland started experiencing like this horrific drought where it wasn't raining, and like there were sea ponies that were like seahorses, but they were sea ponies, and they needed the water to live, and like all of the water was drying up. That's one of the like the early formative experiences that I had. Just be careful what you wish for because you might get it. Like that old saying where I like understood, because when I was young, it's like, what do you mean? Of course I'd want what I wish for. Well, if you're not thinking things through, you might wind up in a really terrible situation. And that's what happened to that pony. Asper B also remembers that episode. Yeah, and as Dougler was saying on the CGI cartoons, like Reboot, he's also bringing up. Reboot, I saw very little of, but I do remember a specific... Oh, you guys, it's another wishing episode. I remember an episode of Reboot where one of the characters wished that they were twice as smart as everybody else, so the wish was granted by making everybody else in the world incredibly stupid. And they also, like, underscored this by... Didn't they, like... make them like a lower bit rate or something, so they were like really chunky and like low resolution, and that's one of the ways that they denoted that they were like extremely dumb and like dangerously stupid. Like, I'm sure if you watched it today it'd be played up for comedy, but I remember being at the time like, oh my god, everyone in the world is so stupid now, they're not going to be able to undo this. Like, it really felt like a big damn deal, like it was supposed to. That's the one episode of Reboot that I do remember. Oh, yep. So Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry was like one of the earliest cartoons that I watched. Like Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, like for sure. Flintstones, loved Flintstones. Loved Flintstones. I remember, like, not getting Bam Bam. Bam Bam seemed like... I was not afraid of Bam Bam, but I felt like Bam Bam was a very threatening character. Like, this kid is multiple times stronger than his own parents. Like, what happens when he throws a temper tantrum? How are they going to control this? Like, even at that age, I was like, I don't know about this Bam Bam character. I want to unlock the resting point that seems to be fairly close. And it looks like it's on the path. I'll also say that, like, you know, they use cartoon characters to, like, sell products to kids. I never was even remotely interested in Pebbles. Like, the, not the character, the, what's it called? The cereal. I never ever once asked my parents, like, oh, you know, can we get Fruity Pebbles? Can we get Chocolate Pebbles? I'd have to think about what cereals I did get,
left
but
us
like,
a fire camp to use.
just completely disinterested in Flintstones themed cereal, but loved the show.
This bag, the bloody great hole in it.
But it does tell us she was here.
Edith Short note. So this is the person that we're looking for. While we talk about breakfast cereals and cartoons, Daniel, if you ever find this note, know that you're too late. In a few minutes, despite the pouring rain and raging storm, I'll be digging up the treasure with my sharpened for the occasion shovel. In a few minutes, I'll be soaked but rich, while you'll remain poor and sorry. Carolina liked Flintstones. Douglas was a Fruit Loops lad. Do you want to know what I've liked for as long as I can remember? Frosted Mini Wheats. Like, you would think of that as being like a slightly, like a sweetened adult cereal. And yes, I do have like Frosted Mini Wheats to this day. But even when I was very young, I still liked that. I liked, let's see. I'm trying to think of what I had the most of growing up. Okay. I feel like we're just going forward, honestly. Because Edith's tracks... Oh, no, wait, was this just where she rested? Or was this where the... I think this is where the trail went. Oh, but then, Mini Wheats. Yep. Hello to Eska Extra Frisky. What,
Here,
lady...
I found something.
Or was it Asperby? Animaniacs. Animaniacs was awesome. Animaniacs, like, of all of the shows that have ever tried to recapture, like, that Looney Tunes combination of, like, oddly, like, very kid-friendly, but with lots of humor that...
Odd marks on the body. Fern-shaped.
Lightning will do that.
Where's her gear?
Maybe it fell.
Oh, was she carrying metal?
Was she really that desperate for the treasure?
Some people would die to be rich.
Let's find her tie and ask her.
I'm surprised the tie isn't the shovel, since I think that's probably what killed her. I mean, getting hit by lightning here seems a little unlikely, but, I mean, this tree is nice and cooked. Asperby says that they didn't even have Animaniacs there. Remember visiting my uncle in New York when 4 and having Fruit Loops for the first time. Oh, was that the Fruit Loops? So Fruit Loops I liked. Honey Nut Cheerios. You know, I now remember a breakfast that I had growing up was Cheerios or Honey Nut Cheerios, and my father would like dip a spoon in honey and then put that in the bowl as well. So I could like drizzle the honey around on the Honey Nut Cheerios and then eat that. I had that for many years. Quaker Oats, or Quaker Oatmeal, cinnamon and spice. That was one of my breakfasts of choice for many, many years. And another one that I still enjoy to this day. There's many, like I cannot eat unflavored oatmeal. I cannot put anything into unflavored, unsweetened oatmeal that will make it palatable. I don't know what it is. It's a flavor that I just find absolutely repellent. However, every flavor of oatmeal that I've tried, I've enjoyed. So they've got like cinnamon, they've got like raisins and spice, they've got apples and cinnamon, they've got the maple syrup flavored ones. Like, they're all excellent. I really enjoy all of their flavors of oatmeal. I haven't found a loser yet. Search the ravine. And we're not allowed to take this down. This is mysteriously, ethereally locked. Oh, derp. Asperby had cornflakes, Frosties, and Weetabix. That last one is not familiar. Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes to me are too sweet. I don't say that about many things, but Frosted Flakes are a little bit too much. You could, in most cases, you could put syrup on sugar and I would eat it. But Frosted Flakes, that's a little bit, that's too much sugar. Asperby did not have Fruity Pebbles or any other fancy cereals. Weetabix is yummy, says Carolina. Now I want to try Weetabix. If I have to live with this, you do too. What is milk with regards to cereal? Is it an ingredient, a sauce, a side? Like a side? I don't know what to say about it. Somebody posited that to me once. And now I never stop thinking about it. It's not worth the brain power.
Heads up!
Okay, stop it.
Did we miss a few?
Like, I feel like the answer is actually just like, it's a preparatory choice. Because cereal is still cereal before you put the milk into it. Like, a sandwich is not a sandwich until you put bread around it, on either side of it. Like, there has to be some element of bread to be a sandwich. Otherwise, it's just a pile of stuff. Milk is milk if you put it into a glass, but cereal is cereal. It's cereal when it's in the box, it's cereal when it's in the bowl, it's cereal both before and after you put the milk onto it. So I feel like the milk is ultimately just, it's your chosen method of consuming the cereal. Inner saying that it depends. Do you put in the milk first? Yeah, as Dougler says, but you keep using brain power to think about it. Yeah. Unfortunately, that question now lives in my head. I can't be rid of it. So Dougler's saying it's not complete until you add the milk. But you can...
Turn and leave.
Okay, hold on.
God, I hate ghosts.
Aye. They're very annoying.
Very funny. She won't get away. Let's find another path. Like falling off a log after being startled by a wisp in Akashus.
Never gonna let me live that one down, are you?
Oh, that's right. Is it a soup? That was the other option. Inner says if you put the milk in first, it's a soup. If you do the cereal first, then it's not. I have never in my life put the milk in the bowl first. Like, no shade on anybody that does. That just would not occur to me. Because then when you put the cereal in most cases, it's going to float. Like, Frosted Mini Wheats are not going to float, but like cornflakes, Cheerios, it feels like then you have to put in more cereal to get it weighted down.
Hold on me.
Oh, that's not...
Did we miss a few?
Oh, BS! I mean, I pulled that off of its target, but I really wanted to hit that guy before he did this.
Spectral target for you.
Oh, hold on.
Ask for help if you need it.
You aim for the heart. I'll destroy the roots.
Asperby is the same. Puts the milk in afterwards. And it says you don't make soup by putting all the stuff in the pan and then add water. Well... Wait, but don't you do... Well, okay, I guess I haven't made a lot of soup from scratch. Because in a lot of cases, like here, like Campbell's condensed soup is very much putting all the stuff in the pan and then adding the water. That's exactly how it's made. But that's not... I think that what you mean is that, like, if you were to make soup from scratch, you would put in the soup, you put in the water, probably bring it to a boil, and then put in your rabbit, your duck, your vegetables, and like cook all of those things together. Does anybody see more cysts? Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb and say we probably... Oh, we can climb this, okay. Hold on, we have to expand our vision on where we are. Nope. There we go. So we do have a cyst here. All right, well, I can see at least 2, so let's see if we can get the others. Well, I can hear the third one, I think. We've got one there. We've got one down there.
The pattern needs to line up.
But the thing is, I mean, technically if we go to the other side of the ridge here, we might have a better shot on wherever the third cyst is.
I need a better angle.
Caroluna's got to go to bed. Caroluna, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Douglas saying, in chicken noodle, you cook the chicken first in the pot, then you cook the veggies in the same pot for a bit, then you toss everything back in and add the water afterwards. I did not know that. I would have thought that you would have, like, brought the water to a boil and then put everything in there and, like, cooked it all together. So, like I said, I've not done a lot of... Oh, there it is. I see it. Yeah, we couldn't see it from the last angle. The question is, can we shoot it from this angle? Hold on. Yeah. There, and then the third one is right there. Okay. Cool, cool. Awesome shot.
Trust me, you don't want a garden.
So, I have extremely little comprehension of what we just unlocked by doing that, but I will be happy to go check it out. Asperby says, frying it up first gives it more flavor. Just boiling it makes everything taste kind of bland. Yeah, I am generally not a big fan. So I do like pasta. Like, boiled meats do not inherently sound very good to me. I completely agree with that. There used to be, and actually probably still is, a diner near where we live that was very, very popular because it was like it was 24/7. You could go in there at any time. So especially in my youth, like a lot of like getting off a third shift and go in there and, oh, it's late, but we can go, go get some food there. This place had every single meal I ever had there, and I tried multiple completely different things from different sections of the menu. I described it as tasting like everything had been boiled in a great big pot for 2 hours before they brought it out to you. It was so, like, you could not get something that was not incredibly soggy and bland. But when you're the only game in town at that hour, it's sort of where people go. I should probably return to looking for Edith's belongings, but we unlocked this as part of our explorations. Let's see where it leads. It led to some pyrite. Innertooth fries stuff in another pan as he likes to fry some stuff a bit into the soup. Frozen food reheated in a bad way. Yeah, we don't have a lot of frozen foods here that are then reheated. Very surprised ghost. Okay, I feel like I am hell and gone from where I should be, and we don't see indications that there's anything out here for us, so let's turn around and go back. I do want to pursue the main deal here. Inner says, he's quoting Gordon Ramsay here. Gordon Ramsay says, "Is the ice fresh?" The waiter says, "No, it's frozen." Gordon Ramsay speaks expletive. Oh, man. Speaking of Gordon Ramsay, how many people here are familiar with Amy's Baking Company? Because that is an episode of Kitchen Nightmares that I return to from time to time, and actually, very recently, saw at least part of again, like within the last week. You know what? You know, because again, I was sort of like foggy for a few days. When I was like not getting anything done and not doing anything resembling productive work, that was when I watched a video. It was actually about Amy's Baking Company. Amy's Baking Company, for people that don't know, I think it was a place in Arizona, which, as presented on the show, legitimately made good baked goods. Like, at least Gordon Ramsay went there and like had some of their, like, it was like a piece of pie or like cake or something like that. It's like, this is delicious, this is really good. And then he went back into the kitchen area and he found labeled, dated ingredients.
Where is it?
Separated out by, like, you know, rotating the stock, and everything was neatly organized. Kitchen was clean. He's like, what's the problem? Like what's the problem here? Well, the problem in Amy's Baking Company is that it was run by two very unbalanced people. Like, it is so severe that I don't want to say something insulting or like derogatory, because this crossed over into like there actually seems to be something wrong with them. Now, whatever was wrong with them, they were stealing tips from the servers. They were yelling at people.
Yes, something's here.
Just legitimately like chemically unbalanced, unhinged behavior in a way that, like, either they are two astounding assholes or they are dealing with something undiagnosed. And I'm really not trying to be funny. I believe the episode's up on YouTube. If anything, I'm underselling it. A piece of a map. A piece of a map found on Edith's body, on which is drawn a part of the region with a cross. So there's our tie.
Half the map. Where's the rest?
Let's ask Edith.
This is quite the journey. And I did do some exploring, but this really felt like there were some trials to get through. Edith really wanted this treasure, by the way. Think about how hard it was for us, and we have a ghost who can help us teleport.
Icum foolish. Amiguiros.
You really are a pain. Now, what do you want? I know you.
Of course you do, Miss Keene. Of course you do.
I don't know you.
I'm Antea Duarte. If you're Edith Keene, your brother Daniel worries for you.
I'm Miss Edith Keene, and my brother can troop off, as can you.
What's your problem with your brother?
He, a wicked man, let me die. He let me die. And I would like him to be punished for it.
We'll come to that. First, a couple of questions.
I don't know. I guess I'm more interested in this.
Why is Daniel to blame for your death?
You don't know him. You don't know the truth of him. You don't know nothing at all.
You were caught in a storm. Daniel threw no thunderbolts.
I was in the woods because Daniel is a scheming manipulator who cannot be trusted, not even by his own sister. He has you fooled. He has everyone fooled. He's a liar. He's a schemer. He's a thief. He's a deserter. He'd have taken the treasure and run.
You both wanted the treasure, so why not share it?
Share? With that filthy thief? Not a chance. The money is mine. I deserve it. I deserve it all. Every penny and every pot.
Why did you leave with only half a map?
I have a memory. I've seen the full map, and I remember it all. I knew the way. He thought he was better. Better than me? Ha! The fool. But the fool lives, while I am dead. How is that fair? His foolishness killed me. He shall not profit from it.
She's annoying me now. They both are. Goodbye, Miss Keene.
My brother must be punished. I am dead because of him.
Hello to Debauchery. Debauchery, you're coming in a good distance into this particular haunting case. Although she died alone in the wilderness, Edith blames Daniel for her death and wants revenge. Yes, we picked up on that. Edith was killed by lightning. Okay, so we don't know still a lot about this dude. The Keene siblings found a treasure map is all we've got on him. Okay, this continues a little ways, but not much. Got it. Well, Douglas says, I have a feeling she was going to betray her brother. She did? Like, we found the letter. Daniel, if you read this,
She's full of resentment.
She's being very selfish.
We need to talk with the brother.
You know, Daniel, if you read this, I stole the treasure. You're going to be poor and alone. Like, we don't know. It sort of depends on what Daniel says. Daniel was acting very shifty and unreliable when we saw him before. But the fact of the matter is, she took her half of the map and she went off on her own and she got killed because she assumed he was going to do it first. I don't know what Daniel might do or might have done if given the opportunity, but I know what she did. So it depends on what we learn or find out about Daniel on the way. Did I ever get a chance to take a look at the thaumaturge? I did, and it's been on sale. It seems like it's a good... Like it seems like it's one of those games that is releasing at a very wise price, where it is right in line with what the amount of content and like the sophistication is. What I read about it, I think specifically on like Mortismal Gaming, or sorry, read about it. We saw a video about it, and he said there's a few bugs. So we were sort of looking to see if there would be some support to get that worked out. For all I know that it has been, but it has been on sale and was recently part of the Steam spring sale, which actually just ended. We wound up getting nothing, by the way. Took a look.
The roots won't remain visible for long after I take the heart. Be quick.
Oh. There are roots around. There's one right there. I don't know where the heart is. Like, the thaumaturge, I'll say, is something that I will definitely want to play. But at the moment, with like so many other things to jump into, we just haven't picked it up yet. But debauchery, I think you were the first person to mention it. So when I saw it coming up sort of like elsewhere in conversation, I was like, oh, this is the one debauchery was talking about. So we've got 1, we've got 2, and we've got... No, where does this one go? Not out here. The spring sale only being 1 week always throws debauchery for a loop. Yeah, there's at least one thing that we mighta, kinda, sorta would have wanted, but... Oh, I really didn't think that would work. Ultimately, we're full up on games, so no harm, no foul on that. So, what I don't know is how we hit... Maybe it gives us a lot of time to climb up there, because we can't shoot that from here. So we'll do our best. So for anybody that's wondering what Debauchery was mentioning, the Thaumaturge is a narrative-style RPG, which means that I think although it has a combat system, it's really not the...
Quick and precise. Well done.
The focus in any way, shape, or form. And as I understand it, like, the game gives you an opportunity to do a little bit of the combat, and then borderline asks you how much of this do you want. And like you can dial the combat difficulty down to like 0 if you just want to focus on the story. Like it's not really about that, but they wanted to like have some stuff you can do for people that want. I don't know how well executed the combat is, so I don't know where I'd fall. I usually want to have everything available, but other than that, it's set in like and I might get part of this wrong because I haven't played it yet, but like alternate history Poland, like 1920s Poland, but one that has like demonology and hauntings and other sorts of like spooks and sprites and ghosts and stuff. But it's set, like, the world setting is very grounded. It's just that it also has these more fantastical elements. Debauchery says, I think it's primarily a Sherlock Holmes-esque game. Yeah, like very mystery-based with Persona-style combat. I've seen literally 0 of the combat. Like, that's interesting. I didn't know that it had something, like, Persona-esque to it. Debauchery is also saying that he just started jumping to Dragon's Dogma 1. By the way, the reviews on Dragon's Dogma 2, like, big chef's kiss on that. Apparently, it's very good. Okay, nothing up there. Debauchery says, did see when the Thaumaturge released, it was actually delayed a couple of weeks because it was right when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Persona 3 Reloaded and a couple other games were all dropped within a week. Setting it aside for a little bit was probably a very good call then. And this truly feels as far as we can go down this path, which is just a weird place to have just a dead end. But yeah, this spirit tunnel is not going to line up for us here. There's no place, there's no way up, and there's no way down. Okay. I was treating this like an optional offshoot, so I'm not concerned about having to go back. We all hear that whining, right? It doesn't sound like a spirit orb, I just don't know what it is. Alright. Now we're back here. I think we can take the spirit tunnel. Debauchery saying,
Right. Which way to camp?
We'll find it.
not too sure on the combat, but does know the Steam page has a trailer, a gameplay trailer, and a quest trailer, and it's coming to at least PS5, and possibly Xbox, but not certain, sometime in 2024. Yeah, I think the review / like explainer video that we watched said, nah, it's good. It does have some odd quirks. I think the specific rundown for the Thaumaturge was nothing game breaking, but some stuff that's a little bit on the janky side. Like, I think one of the specific things was like, at one point all of the characters, or like some of the characters, like spawned into the world like a third too low, so they were just walking around knee deep in asphalt or whatever. That kind of stuff I usually take on the like, oh, that's goofy. And especially if it gets like fixed on a reload or something, that's like a big, I don't really care. As long as it's not a big, like, critically important narrative scene.
Don't let it crush you.
Nothing takes the impact out of Luke, I am your father. Quite like having Darth Vader's head on backwards, or like just having him glitched partway through a wall. If it's just walking around in like random conversation, it's fine. Like this game, like I'm a big fan of this game. Some of the blocking and some of the dialogue and cutscenes is just kind of confusing because I don't feel like the gun that we have equipped on Red is that different than any other rifle, but it tends to just like completely block over somebody's face sometimes. I can think of one extremely specific game that actually is not currently live on the channel, where incredibly important cutscenes are irresolvably broken in ways that would be funny if it wasn't so damaging to the narrative structure. I think this is a drop yeah. I'm gonna unlock all of our shortcuts. Hello to Jägermeister! Debauch says, what? You don't like it when you see the inside of your head on close-up cinematics?
From the invisible.
Yeah, I am, like, in this game, I think, like, one of the very recent episodes, at a bug. Here's what I think was happening, by the way, in that earlier episode. I think that the ghost we were supposed to talk to spawned into the world, but similar to the Thaumaturge, spawned into the world in the wrong location. Like, inside a stack of boxes and, like, underneath the floor. So I spent a lot of time trying to, like, where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? Like, I thought I was missing something. Well, no, it was just a bug. But the bug was fixed by reloading the game. Okay, that was a little annoying, but if you get one or two of those in a game that's otherwise of this quality, it's fine. You know, I always say it. I'd rather the game be perfect, but if it can't be, how annoying are the bugs? This is not a big deal. Hopefully they fix that in a patch. And now I can't remember if I said hello to Jägermeister. Jägermeister started playing Marvel's Midnight Suns yesterday. I am very curious, Jägermeister, in what you thought of it. I was a big, big fan of Marvel Midnight Suns, and it is an island on which I stand alone. That's not fair to say. A lot of people like a lot of things about Marvel Midnight Suns. They just didn't like the game. They, like, the way it was structured. We fought that guy a lot, so we're gonna keep going. Terrible load times, really? I don't remember one way or the other. Do you have a solid-state drive in your system? Debauchery says, I don't remember is the thing. So I'm curious. Not installed on the SSD. All right, that might account for it then. Because we played on, like, I always just say SSD because it's all solid state to me, but I guess technically it's an M2 drive, M.2. Debauchery was saying, completely off topic, I saw a clip about Dragon's Dogma 2 Pawn AI learning, and it's magnificent. Yeah, so now I can't remember how recently I just said this. The reviews for Dragon's Dogma 2 are very, very promising. I don't anticipate playing that myself for now. Dragon's Dogma was one of those games that, for me, burned bright and hot, and then I was over it, and I didn't actually make that much progress in it. There's a lot to love in Dragon's Dogma 1, and a lot of people that kept with it found those things to love, and I always intended to go back to it and just didn't. So what I want to see is, like, once that game is in the wild and being played by folks like Abtaria, for example. Abtaria has been playing through Dragon's Dogma 1. If I remember correctly, she is planning to jump into Dragon's Dogma 2 afterwards. I'll be interested to know what she thinks. Like, if Debauchery plays it, if Asperby plays it, like, whoever else is going to play it, I'll just be interested in their...
will not work here. The Banisher is not as stupid as he looks.
In their thoughts once they've spent, 5, 10, 15 hours with it.
What news of my sister?
I found her. I found your sister.
Has she passed?
Yes.
Oh, dear Lord.
I'm sorry.
She's gone. My sister is gone.
What happened between you?
My sister was complicated, sir. A good Puritan, but no stranger to the sin of envy.
Envy isn't usually fatal.
Did you have a disagreement?
Oh, aye. We've had a few. From when she was a child, Edith dreamed of position. Me? Well, I just wanted good land to till and decent food to eat.
There's something you should know, and you must know it now before more harm is done. Daniel, you're haunted by your sister's ghost.
How could it be otherwise? No one bears a grudge like Edith Keane.
She blames you for her death.
Of course she does. She blamed me for everything. She blamed me for our poverty. She blamed me when the crops failed. She blamed me for the map. The map? Of course. Did you find the map?
Aye. There was a map. I'll be keeping it for now.
For the best, no doubt. For the best.
I'll need to have a look around your house. Hope you don't mind.
Do what you please. I've nothing to hide.
You fool. You'll not last long without me.
So, I know what I think about her.
I sense the fragment of a ghost's voice.
I'm not convinced of what I think of him. Yet. Debauchery was saying that one thing that might push him... Well, hold on. One thing that might push him towards console over PC is that he thinks that, like, they're trying to figure... They're waiting on feedback into how high the specs are going to be on PC. Annotated map. Okay. Some X's and so forth.
It's been digging up gold and digging up worms. I know which I'd choose.
Neither seems to have made them rich.
Joe's letter. Daniel, I received your letter and did as you said. Apparently old Callaghan's land is for sale, so you should be interested. His son doesn't want to take over his farm. He's gone to town. I warned you that it wouldn't be easy in New England, but you were stubborn enough to leave everything behind. All that's left is to convince your sister to come back too, because you know you won't be able to afford to buy the old man's land on your own. Anyway, I'm waiting to hear from you to know what to do. Your friend Joe. Soil, land, and fields. Vegetables for calcareous soil? I'm not familiar with that. Plant and sow garlic, carrots, beets, radishes, parsnips, and fabaceae If the soil in your garden is moderately calcareous, you will also get good crops of tomatoes and lettuce. Vegetables for moist soil. In this soil with a high organic matter content, that stuff becomes plantable and harvests are abundant. You can grow squashes, courgettes, and gherkins without fertilizer.
They came prepared. Not prepared enough, it seems.
Edith's letter. Fortune, I'm writing to you to get a refund for my order placed for my tools. No sooner had they been used than they broke. I do not doubt your competence, and I'm aware of the difficulties, especially at the moment, but things are difficult for us too. So, if you do not want the rest of the colony to learn of this misadventure, please reimburse me for the costs incurred. Edith.
Let's see. Cross the bridge, go through the forest, turn east, and... Good. I've got everything I need.
Caught red-handed! You thief! How dare you steal from your own sister?
I just wanted to look at it again. Here, take it back.
I bloody well will.
Daniel planned to go hunting for treasure alone.
Why did she call him a thief? There's more to this.
A ghost left a blurred fragment of its memory. Toki mi indrasta, skal numphalis.
The camp is doomed like the rest of New Eden. We go!
The risk is too great!
We claim the treasure and leave directly.
You're as foolish as our father and you're going
Don't! You're as headstrong as was our adult mother.
She was stern, but she was fair. Half for you, half for me.
God grant me patience.
Edith left with half a map.
Well, we already know B.
Daniel wouldn't agree to her plan. Did she try to cut him out? There's more to this.
After splitting their treasure map to prevent betrayal, Daniel tried to double-cross Edith and claim the treasure for himself. And then she tried to double-cross him and claim the treasure for herself. By memorizing her piece of the map but got caught. Yeah, and she did the same thing. Okay, I was hoping to talk to her again because she was hanging out here. Wait, debauchery is sharing. Calcareous soil? I still don't know how to pronounce this. A type which is formed from or contains a high proportion of calcium carbonate in the form of calcite or aragonite? Streaming has really helped to underscore the degree to which I do not know how to pronounce words.
So, is it done?
I know all I need to know.
So you can help me?
Let's speak frankly, shall we? Having caught you trying to steal her part of the map, your sister fled alone into the woods.
I weren't stealing it, I was just looking at it. Is it my fault she ran off into the forest?
I think it might be, friend, yes.
You lied to me. You knew why she'd left.
Aye. Sorry about that. Didn't want you to know about the treasure, see? She wanted to be rich. I just wanted to go home.
I said I'd help you, and I keep my word. You must face your sister one last time. Edith, show yourself.
Oh there, Daniel.
dead because of you!
Banish her! Now, man, do it before she does something terrible.
End your mewling, you bag of shite! The Banisher knows that this is all your fault.
No, not mine. Your misadventure was your own.
All right, that's enough. If you can stop bickering for just a minute, perhaps we can get to the truth. With that, we may even have an ending. I saw your letter, Daniel. You planned to return to Yorkshire.
This land is cursed. If I'm to die miserable and poor, at least I can do it at home.
Bullshite. You wish to go home and buy a great big farm and be important. A man of standing, no less. Pah! You're a liar and a fool. This country could make countless fortunes, including ours. Idiot!
Even dead, will you not just bloody well shut up?
Edith, you were determined to make the farm prosperous, am I right?
A fool's errand. The land is cursed.
I knew I'd never be a queen. I'd like as never be a mother. But I would make a garden grow, and in it, I could content grow old. We are the salt of the earth, sir.
The salt here, sister, has lost its savour.
I mean, he planned to. He just didn't have a chance to double-cross her. And this is also extremely true.
Edith, you went after the treasure alone. You had a wee accident. You can't hang it on Daniel here.
That's right.
Without your scheming, I'd not have braved the woods alone. Without your scheming, I'd yet be alive. You killed me!
You killed yourself, you stupid cow.
Edith went treasure hunting alone, aye. But only because she knew you, Daniel, would double-cross her. She was right.
You tried to steal the map, you antiquated rogue!
I didn't try to steal the map, you horrible old drudge. I just wanted to look at it. 'Twas you who sneaked off after the treasure alone.
You left me no choice, you meal-mouthed excuse for a man. And now I am dead.
Right. That's enough.
I've had enough of these two. Let's get it over with.
All right. We know enough. Let's end this.
So I dislike both of these people very intensely. Whether or not they should have, come, stayed or gone, I don't know. He is literally correct when he says that this land is cursed and that he'd have a better shot of being at home. She is also very correct that they could really build something with their own hands out here if only they weren't living in an area that's cursed. Ultimately, it's like, okay, well, everybody else seems to have found a way to do this without, driving each other mad and just, like spitting invectives at each other. There's only two options here. We banish her or we blame him. I am not convinced that he did anything wrong. I am convinced that he absolutely would have if he'd been given 15 more minutes. So we're going to do what's best for Antea here and blame him.
Daniel Keane, your greed and manipulation drove your sister to her death.
And what's it to you, anyway?
Oh, Danny, he's gonna make you pay. He's gonna make you pay big.
What? No. Not I.
You are what is holding Edith to this world. Without you, there is no haunting. Without you, everyone will be safe.
I wish I'd seen it. To have known a moment as a rich man before I go.
Boy, if I had any doubts, That cleared them right up. His dying thought was, oh boy, if only I'd had an opportunity to feel rich. I suspect that he was a very hardworking person, and so was she. And again, we're like, I do keep in mind that this is an area of the world where the people are sleep deprived and the sun never rises or sets and it's frigidly cold in July. There's a lot of desperation, a lot of starvation, a lot of suffering that's around here, and that's going to push people to the edge. When you have a community or multiple communities now of people that have been pushed to the edge and you see the best come out in some people, it really like puts an exclamation point on the people that found a way to show their worst. And these two people, they just seemed absolutely insufferable. And what he said there is that, Daniel, we get rid of you, we get rid of her. The haunting is resolved. I have to say that I was thinking, like, this gets rid of both of them. Like, was this, like, Edith still gonna haunt the treasure to make sure that also nobody else got it? I don't know. If so, we might get an epilogue chapter about that. But otherwise, they're just, like, done. They're just done. And we don't have to talk to either one of them ever again. Maxine's got to turn in. Bedtime for Maxine. Maxine, thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you have a great evening. This, I believe, is our very last spirit point with our options between no. And fourth punch increases the damage of the next manifestation by 40%. Yeah, that's a very easy choice. All right. I want to take a quick look at the menu. Let's take a quick look at what we've got. So, there should be an epilogue chapter for the twins, and we'll probably rest as we end the episode. We did all of our epilogues here at Mount Pleasant, and there's one epilogue left over here. But you guys, that's it. That was the last haunting case. Look, there's no unexplored dots. So, let's rest, because sometimes we do get like a little cutscene, little dialogue thing, talking about what all has happened. Calcareous soils? Calcareous? Well, it has calcium in it. You would think calcareous. I've just not heard the word ever. But yeah, for Jägermeister's benefit, I don't remember the load times in Midnight Sun striking me one way or the other on an M.2 drive. I don't, like, they were not instantaneous. Oh, and the other thing for debauchery is, for us, I think that I would certainly err towards playing Dragon's Dogma 2 on PC, because from my understanding, the console versions, the PlayStation 5 is a locked 30 frames per second, and then the Xbox One can get as high as 40. Well, if I can tweak those graphic settings to put me at 60, I would very much prefer to do so. So, let's highlight this, and let's actually take our fast travel point to probably Hill's old house. I feel like that's going to be nice and close. Yeah, the other one might be, like, weirdly underground or something. But similar to debauchery, it will be interesting to see what kind of performance profile Dragon's Dogma 2 expects. Because if it's going to be one of those games that's like,
Spectre possession.
This runs great on a 4090 with frame generation. Well, we don't have that. Oh, whoops. For some reason, I thought that I was being Antea. Yeah, in that last case, I place no blame at all on Daniel for Edith's death. That was entirely her own decision. He didn't push her to do it. She didn't want him to rip her off, and I wouldn't have wanted that either. Sorry, as long as we're here, I don't think that we have the parts that we need for this. No, we're missing one shepherd. But I'll tell you this. The thing that really cheesed me off was him lying to us, lying to Red. Playing coy about the map, about where his sister went, the whole deal. Like, the fact that now I believe he was pretending not to notice that his sister was gone, and then, oh, dearie me, if you can go catch my sister. I don't think that he ever cared about his sister. I think he wanted the other half of the map, because when we came back, it's like, oh, by the way, did you find the other half of that map? And Red, rather, was like, I did, but I'm going to hold on to it for now. I felt very used. And if he had that little concern for his sister, that when she was gone, he sort of perceived an opportunity to trick the Banishers into going to find out what happened, but mostly just to get that map. Doesn't actually care what happened. Does very much care about getting the map. Nah, we're done. I am not convinced that what he did is enough that he deserves to die, but
Careful.
I
Something
feel
knows
like
we're here.
okay, I so tried to dodge out of the way.
I'm right
Nope.
here. I can
Wow.
help. Ask for help if you need it.
Quick reminder that at any given point in this game, you are 2 or 3 solid hits from just being dead. Although partially that's like all the glass cannon powers that I've chosen. It's probably a lot of the glass cannon powers that I've chosen where like we do more damage, but we take more damage. I'm really putting a lot of stock in my ability to dodge or block or parry out of these hits. And when you fail, boy, do you feel it. But yeah, that was not like, oh, this guy's annoying, so I'm just going to kill him. He was very annoying, but moreover,
Think you can take on a ghost?
It's the complete lack of interest in his sister's well-being. Because just like I don't think that he necessarily, deserved to die for, like, his role in this whole thing, neither did she. Basically, they perceived an opportunity to lift themselves up out of their severely impoverished and unfortunate circumstances. It sucks that they couldn't find a way to cooperate. Oh, is this Elizabeth? I think this is Elizabeth. Yep. Nope.
Think you could take on a ghost? Elizabeth is gone. For good this time.
I won't be terribly surprised if we go into a void journey at some point and Elizabeth shows back up. She's really mad at us. That's not the kind of rage that in this world just gets better. It follows you after death. It follows you post that death. It's really... She's really heated up about it. And again, I can't blame her. All right, we happen to be next to a couple question marks. Kind of want to check these out. Yeah, like, I think we talked about it in some previous episode. It may or may not have been about Banishers. Here's my, like, list of interests about Dragon's Dogma 2. Number 1, is the combat and are the character classes as hold on.
Yes!
Those guys are tricksy, like hobbitses. I need to focus on their weird movement. I really like those guys. Is the combat and are the character classes as much fun as they were in the first one? Because that was one thing the game absolutely nailed. Number 2, in Dragon's Dogma 2, is going out at night tantamount to just like drinking bleach. Like, it's so dangerous. Well, I don't know about how dangerous. You can't see anything in Dragon's Dogma 1. When the sun goes down, the world is covered in ink. It's so dark. And it's so, like, what makes it so dangerous is that, like, much higher level enemies come out and they are, like, you can't see anything. And not in, like, a, the game is now just designed to be, like, a huge jerk to you, but rather in a, like, the night is dark and full of terrors. Can we please let go of this? Yeah. And it just feels really atmospheric and cool. Like, I want that. Like, just to be clear, I think that was one of the things. Like, look at this, how long it's been. It's one thing that I remember very distinctly about it. Number 3, is the dialogue less obnoxious? Because I never knew that human beings could say naught and ought as frequently as in Dragon's Dogma. It's not a good reason to not like a game, but still, it sort of wears on you. At least it did on me. Just that it felt like the dialogue felt needlessly clumsy. It felt like middle schoolers wanting to sound smart. A lot of the dialogue in it. Hold on, because there is something back there, and yeah, here we go.
I can't help you.
Right. We need Antea to smash that open. And I don't see the ghost ward so far. There we go.
A ward restrains me.
And then number 8, or whatever I was up to, is there story? Is there some sort of narrative thread that is carrying you along this really enjoyable combat system and the character class advancement and the world exploration? Is there like a story that links it all together? Because without a story, it becomes very easy for me to lose interest. Not every game, not every time, but more often than not. It's like, well, I'd sort of like had fun with the combat and I leveled up the character classes that I wanted, so that's it, and now I'm just going to stop playing. Well, don't you want to see the end of the story? Story? What story? And again, like for people who saw Dragon's Dogma 1 through to the end, they found some cool stuff in there. I've actually, by the way... Oh, really? Yeah, no, there's... But,
this is locked from the other side.
No, it's not. It's not. It's locked from this side. I can see it. It's right there. Right.
This requires a key.
Are you kidding? Okay, well, whatever gets it done. Literally anything that makes me not have to go back around the long way. All right, and let's check down here. And then we're probably going to stop in at a campfire again. I'm glad that we got to settle up with Elizabeth. I don't know that every... Well, actually, I do know that every case has some sort of an epilogue, but that one felt right to make sure that we did, because she was going to make life a lot worse for a lot of people who are not Red or Antea. Because whatever happens with Red and Antea, they're off to other locales. One way or the other, they're not hanging out here. And then we're leaving Lisbeth there to
Ready and waiting.
wail in agony for all eternity. So we moved her forward. If we see the opportunity, we'll make her extra dead. Dead +1. Whatever happens to you when you are in the afterlife and then a banisher comes in there and kills you again. As Jägermeister says, it's locked from the other side. But yeah, I have like one of the highest possible opinions of Marvel Midnight Suns.
There's an angry specter nearby. Summon it before it ambushes us.
See, the big footprints make me think Scourge, but let's go with Make Manifest since she said specters.
Nokuhei!
Okay, Antea.
You losing your edge?
No, I was listening to you.
Show your shape in flesh!
Hold on, we're not done.
I'm right here, you know.
Fusion power made that guy go down super easy. I mean, the perk in that one was better, more light and heavy attack damage. So, like, again, that plays into my playstyle. But, yeah, no. You give a bonus to her, like, regular sword attacks on that, and you really feel it. Okay. We're gonna make our way towards a campfire. I still feel like this one, anytime they show that it's in a cave, what I think in my head is like, oh, is there gonna be like some real like labyrinthine path that you have to do to get into the cave and then climb the walls and stuff like that, whereas this feels more like it's gonna be a straight shot over land. And that's probably not accurate because all of Banishers is made up of snaking paths. Jägermeister says, in pickleball yesterday, watched a friend with an overhead shot, and it watched a friend whiff with an overhead shot. It hit him in the back and proceeded to do the same thing. And and then Jägermeister proceeded to do the same thing within the next 2 minutes. Hey, there's if somebody's got a whiff, at least you can do it in pairs. Whiff buddies. Both parties wind up feeling less embarrassed because it happened again to somebody else immediately before or after them. Was that on camera at any point, Jägermeister? Like, did you get that, like, added to your channel? Okay, I still don't have the cursed doll for that chest. And pending a shocking discovery, I kind of think that we found all the cursed dolls because, yeah, our next, as far as I can think of, our next, well, no. There's one more epilogue. There's one more epilogue that I'd like to track down because there's literally one more, and then we'll have all the green checks and all the story, and we did it. But aside from that, it is into the end game from here. Let's rest real quick, because that might help whatever the epilogue is to show up. Jägermeister says yes, but he's not going to highlight it because it would embarrass his friend more than him. That's a kind thing to do. like, to you it might be funny, but if to your friend it's like they're feeling really self-conscious about it, defer to their judgment, I think, is a good rule. Let's take a quick look here, because somewhere in this world, there it is. All right, so we're going to travel back to Hunter's Camp. And actually, that's going to be where we call it for this episode. So, yeah, I firmly believe that the next episode of Banishers will be the finale. Now, we don't know. Some of the segments in Banishers, like, it looks on the map like it's a story sequence, and then that story sequence, instead of being 20 or 30 minutes, is literally 3 hours. When we did the mines beneath Mount Pleasant, that's what that was like. But yeah, no, this was a huge progress episode, and what we're going to do is most likely see you guys over the weekend. I'll make sure that we have a good block of time, and we'll aim to make the next episode the big finale of Banishers. There will not be a lot of surprises, I don't think, in my summation of how I feel about this game. I've been talking about it all the way through. This game was it's just really landed in all the ways that I think it was intended, and my list of examples on how it could be better is far, far, far exceeded by the list of things that I've enjoyed it. But I am very curious to know what how it's all going to resolve. I really, truly believe that we got enough life energy to bring Antea back. There were cases where that very strongly guided the decisions that I made, and then a lot of cases where I just didn't factor it in at all because the elements of the story in the haunting case was such that I feel like there was really only one moral decision, however it was that it wound up. So we're going to find out together how that affects the ending. We're going to call it here and find somebody fun to raid. Until next time, you guys, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great night.